What's poppin', guys? We're back in another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a basic Skygen in one episode. So I'm going to try to make this episode kind of short to give you guys time to do this, and you can pause the video if you want to see any of the commands I do. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so step one to creating a basic Skygen. So we're just going to name this tutorial basic Skygen. Alright? And now don't worry about this. We'll edit this when we get in. Or this. Now, let's go to advanced. So if you want to make us an actual Skygen, first you gotta go to advanced, and you gotta turn on flat world. So if we turn it on, it'll present us with a bunch of presents of you could think of these as like layouts of some sort. So for a Skygen, the typical one would be the void, so that it's in the sky, kind of, and that stuff. Okay, so don't worry about all this other stuff. Now you might want coordinates because it might be very important for later. Trust me on this. So I would enable coordinates. I would turn off fire spreads and TNT explodes unless you want this to be a really chaotic Skygen. And don't worry about all this other stuff. We can fix it. Don't do that. But I would do, depends what you want to do. But I would do immediate respawn. So multiplayer, if you really want a multiplayer game, then you could do friends of friends, and member would be they're kind of like a player. They're gonna spawn in with the thing, but you can still do creative. Now if they do don't give them operator. You could give them visitor if you just want them to watch, but that's up to you. And you could probably enable either one of these. Friendly fire, if you want players to fight each other in your Skygen. Visible to lane players, that would be a good one. Multiplayer game. Locator bar is optional in friendly fire, but yeah. Cheats, I would probably do always stay. That's optional, but I would do keep inventory, because when people die, they're gonna be really mad that somebody just takes all the loot, and it would really clog up your Skygen. So don't worry about that. Mob spawning, I would turn that off unless you're going to do some boss fight thing. And I'll show you what I mean later. But mob griefing, just turn that off. All this other stuff you don't have to worry about. Weather, make sure command blocks is on. You're going to need this. Weather cycle, it's optional. Okay, I'm going to turn it off because it's kind of annoying when you have snow, rain, and that stuff. I don't know, just not that fun. But for basic Skygen, I'm not going to add any resource or behavior packs. None of that. That's for another video sometime. But so let's create. Okay, so when you first start out, you're probably going to be in survival if you did what I said. Okay, so first things first, this is what you want. Now for a basic Skygen, you could do survival. That's just a lot more work. I prefer adventure mode for people. Don't worry, you will still be able to break blocks. There's a special thing called an allow block. So you probably want to do that. And personal game mode, I would change to creative, since this is going to be our game mode, any operator's game mode. And difficulty, just make it peaceful. If you're not going to have a boss fight, that is. And so that's pretty good. Now we got that. So I'll save. And now, to start out a Skygen, a basic Skygen, well, first, we need to add a spawn point for people. So we'll just make it on this block. So let's go into command. Let's go into chat. And this is a very important command. /set world spawn. There, sorry. Now this will set the spawn point right here, right where you're standing. Okay, in this exact block. So people spawn in the exact spot you are. They'll spawn right here. And so, yeah, now we got that. So now we want to add well, I'm not doing friendly fire, so I'm not going to add this, but maybe in another Skygen tutorial. So now the first part of a Skygen that you need to add are the gens, the generators. So to make generators that infinitely generate blocks, we're going to need to do a simple command that gives us a command block. /give, and don't forget, you guys can take pictures of these and to like remember or pause the video at any time. /give @s, which means us. If you did, like, as you can see on the side here, you have all the other players. /give @s command _ block. Now you can just pause that video right there. So now that we have a command block, which should look like this, unless you did something wrong and it says error, then comment down in the comments if it didn't work, and I'll tell you to pause the video. Alright, so now I would build the Skygens relatively kind of far away from spawn to because we're going to add some more stuff towards the middle. So I would put our first one, I would carve out a 4x4, a 2x2 hole in your base flat. Now, as you can see, we can do this. Oh yeah, right, there's the minimum height. Okay, so I would probably surround it with some block, since if you're doing a void, this is kind of the minimum height. You can't go under that. So I would do that. And what I do for a Skygen is we put the command blocks here, facing upward, like this. Alright, so now that we've got them facing upward, we can go into our command block. Let's go into this one. And first thing you want to do is don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. We want to change our command block, if we're making generators, to repeat, which will make it so it's repetitive. And then condition, just keep it unconditional. Redstone, always active. You don't really want to delay and ticks. Alright, so the command would be set. You don't need a slash. Just to let y'all know. But also, to do what I just did, go into the plus. Set block. Now, I'm going to do 2 up. If you're going to do the exact same thing I'm doing, I would do 2 and up. And then, which is like the height of where it's going to set the blocks. This is like the chords. And then now you could do whatever block you want. So for example, I could do oak _ log. It's not oak plank. It's not like oak. It's not tree log or whatever. It's not any of that. You got to do _ log. Specifically what that says. And so now it's summoned. We have a oak log right here. And if I break it, it immediately respawns. And so now you have an infinite generator. But the problem is, if somebody's in adventure mode, they can't mine it. So another trick I like to do is /give @s allow. That's all you have to say, allow. And what this does is allows you to mine a block that is above it in adventure mode. Now, if you don't want your players using this and building up infinitely and doing whatever, if they have a mace and jumping down and killing people, well, you can also grab a /give @s deny block, which if we put it, let's say I would put it here, so we give the player some room. But if we do it like this, now let's say I go into adventure mode, or I go into the default mode. See, now, just to prove to y'all, I can break this, but the problem is I can't build up all the way. I can't build farther up. I can't place on the sides anywhere. I'm trying to click. I can't do any of that. So, yeah. All right, let's go back into our personal game mode, creative. If you have any questions, comment down in the comments below. But yeah, so that, and then you could do the same thing on each, or you could do it, I don't like to do it this way, but if you're one of those people who just isn't that organized, you could do just /set block. Let's say you're doing an OR. We'll do an OR this time, coal _ OR. And that will spawn coal right there. And you can infinitely break it. And then you could summon a bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to do the basic stuff that you really need. Set block. Iron _ OR. So I would recommend making multiple of these and like spreading them out kind of and making them all one type so it's not so confusing for people. But you could do it this way if you wanted. It's totally customizable. So for this one, I would do probably set block. Maybe let's say I can't think. Oh yeah, diamond underscore or. And yeah, and then I would probably, if I were you, I would add some furnaces, like just some crafting tables, furnaces, blast furnaces, this stuff, because you're gonna need this. And I would add them like around the map. So now that we got like our gen working for like a basic, if you're gonna make like a tiny Skygen like this, I wouldn't recommend it, but you know, if you're gonna do that. Now, if you want players to actually join your Skygen, there's a simple command called /set max players to 40, and that's the max it can go. So up to 40 players can join your Skygen. Now, I would make it maybe a little lower because I mean, it could lag your server and crash your game depending what you play on. For example, I play on a computer, so it'd be different. All right, so now that we got the gens working, another tip I'm going to give you guys is we can add an enchantment table. Because, I mean, you probably want to enchant. They probably want to enchant, you know. There's more than just doing other stuff. So I would add an enchantment table, you know, get like the maxed out thing. Kind of, you could put it next to it, for example. I mean, this is how I do my enchantment tables, if y'all are wondering. I usually make them kind of like steps. And then I put like the enchantment table straight in the middle. And if I grab a sword, for example, it will cost, it'll be in the 30s. And we got a not so good enchantment. All right. But the thing is, your players don't really have, I mean, except for mining ores. But sometimes players don't like that. So this is optional. You don't have to do this. But there are commands that can give players XP, like up to 27,000 levels of XP. So I'm going to show you both of them. I'm going to put one here and hold up. Here and over here. All right, so this one we're going to do repeat. It does need redstone, so we're going to put I would put personally just an iron pressure plate so players can't throw items on top of it to do stuff. But yeah, get your command block, you know. So boom, we got that. Now if we go into our command block, this one is going to be the less people are going to use this one, I bet you. But it's /summon XP underscore orb. Now what this does is, for example, if I step on this pressure plate, it summons an XP orb. And if I go into adventure really quick to show you guys, if I'm in adventure, it makes my levels go up, I mean, kind of fast, but it's kind of slow. So if you're not that kind of person, I mean, you could do both next to your enchantment table, but you could go over here and you could do repeat. Needs redstone, but this one is going to give a lot more XP. So /XP 7, we'll do like 9,999. And don't do any, I mean, it won't help if you do any higher. It can't go like really high, so don't make it go super high. At P. And so what that will do is now, I think if I step on this, yeah, so it'll do that. So for example, if I go into adventure now, my levels kind of go really fast, like this. Now you could do even higher than that if you purposely wanted. Just don't go too, like, I'm talking like into the quadrillions. Don't do that. Like maybe trillions, maybe billions. And if you want to fix this chat thing where it says what the command is doing when you step on it, which will appear to other players and will seem kind of annoying, there's a simple command called /game rule. And then you want to say command block output. and then you want to say false. Or, sorry, that's not how you spell false. False. And so now, when I step on it, there's no chat message up there. And it doesn't say gave, that stuff. Now, there will be another command I will show you guys that will get rid of other stuff. But for now, we don't need to worry about that. So now you have the gens, the enchantment table, the stuff to craft with. I mean, this is a pretty good Skygen. Also, don't forget to add anvils. People might want those, you know. But I think this will be all for this Skygen. I will be doing more Skygen videos on this channel, but they will be more advanced. This is just like the most basic Skygen you can make. Has all the materials you need, but this is the most basic Skygen. I will be doing an intermediate Skygen video and an advanced Skygen video, and they will be harder. So I would recommend trying to get good at this currently. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to join one of my Skygens, all you got to do is friend me. And if you friend me, then you can probably join my Skygen, or your friends can too, because my Skygen's friends of friends. So, you know, like anybody who's a subscriber can join, obviously. Skygen is called Eternal Gen, if you're if you're wondering. And it's very fun Skygen, but hope you all enjoy. And see you in the next video.